Hey, good morning. I think I'm starting to figure out this technology thing. For once, the first weekend now, or first week that I've been doing this, I didn't screw this up. So there is hope for people my age or people that are not that great at technology. So, all right, praise God. All right, today is a unique day because today is my topic is how to be unique. Why would you want to be unique? What's that really mean if you are unique? So that's what we're going to jump into today. If you're a first-time viewer, my name is Scot Ferrell. I'm a pastor, currently also known as America's Behavior Expert. Now, if you want to know about the pastor part, I see it's displayed in the upper, my right, your left, probably corner. Encounter Christ Church. We meet in Gainesville, Georgia. We will be live here in a week, actually. So June 21, we'll be back in our facility. We have a government building, so specifications are a little different if you don't own your own building. So June 21, 11 a.m. If not, you can always tune in to preaching right here or YouTube or any other variation we have. Our website, encounterchrist.org, which will flash on the bottom here in just a second at 11 a.m. All right, let's get into today's topic. I'm going to handle what it means to be unique, how you can be unique in your life, and then I'm going to give you a book to read. How's that? I read a lot, even though you're probably going to say, but Scott, you said you can't read. Well, I can't read like you do. I can grasp out of one sentence, let's say there's 7 words, I can get 4 maybe. But I can get the gist of things. I got through school doing the same thing. So I've learned how to cope with books. So I try to get as much out because what I'll do is I'll read the chapter title so I know what it's about. And then I'll go through, and if I have any hard words or something I really don't get, my wife will read it to me. So I got a system to where I can read books. So I'm going to recommend the book. People ask me all the time, hey, man, what do you read? And so probably every Facebook Live now, I'll give you a book to read. If you want to get better in life, you got to read. You got to be well-read, and you've got to update your education continuously. Now, talking about unique, I'm going to go through some definitions, which most people do. A lot of people think they know what a word means, and sometimes they don't, or they assign their own meaning to a word, which we all do. It's like people that think they know song lyrics, and then you read them out and go, that's not what that says. And I'm one of those people. I kind of insert my own lyrics. All right, so unique. What's it really mean to be unique? It's to be one of a kind. You're not like anything else. Okay, so that's unique. Now, eccentric, which I like a lot, instead of the word strange or weird, eccentric is unconventional and slightly strange. Why would I bring that one up? Well, a lot of people during my career, my life, have either called me weird, they've called me strange, eccentric, when I was stacking bennies, and unique. I remember one of my old bosses one time ran into a former employee, and they were talking about me, and he goes, Ferrell, he's a strange bird. He goes to his own drum, his own beat. That is true. If you've ever seen me live, you know I'm a little unique. I never wanted to be like anyone else. When I was back in high school, I had opportunities, but one of them was to go into the fashion world. Someone like me fits in the fashion world, and also music too. I did get to perform. I did not major in music, and decided that to major in music meant eventually I was probably going to have to teach music, and I didn't want to do that. So I went into broadcasting instead. So it worked out. Deep voice, guys with deep voices don't have that long of a career with lots of money. You might have a long career, but you ain't banking it. So I decided to do something else. So unique, I'm going to give you 6 steps on what it takes to be unique. So if you've ever wondered, do I want to be like everybody else, the 99, or do I want to be the 1%, or do I want to be my own person, or do I think I'm being my own person and I'm not really? So get a pen, paper, or just scribble down on your phone. A lot of people like to do that. I'm a pen and paper guy. I still do that, probably always will. All right, number one way you can be unique. Be nice. One of my favorite movies, and now I've got my wife watching it, is Roadhouse. Roadhouse is one of my favorite movies. If you're a dude, it's one of those dude movies. But there's a spot where Dalton, the main character, Patrick Swayze, he's telling the bouncers to be nice. That used to be a given. I remember I used to teach out of Miss Manners when I was a high school teacher, and I would teach kids etiquette. For a lot of, back when I was teaching, I didn't normally have to say be nice. It was more table settings, how to eat at the table, how to hold a fork, what's the courtesy for women, etc. Now it's just be nice. Why was he telling his bouncers to be nice? Well, somebody wrote it in a script, but if you've ever been in a club and there's a disagreement, it always works out better if the person trying to stop the disagreement is nice, because a lot of times you can defuse it and get them outside. In life, is it so hard to be nice? I do experiments all the time. I'll go to a store or I'll go get a cup of coffee. In my daily life, I do my experiments, and I'll just be nice to people. I'll walk in, hey, how are you today? Or good morning, or man, that dress looks amazing. Whatever it is. And I've got the one lady who does all my shirts, my cleaning. And I'll go in and I ask her about her life. She's a really sweet lady. I actually enjoy going in now. It's the first time she was a little gruff. She was difficult. And now it's like I've known her forever. We sit and chat about life and what's going on in the church and her family, and just be nice. What can get accomplished every single day if you're just nice? Now, I'm not talking about people that need a sock in the face. That's not what I'm talking about. In general life, you go to work. Hey, how are you today? Hey, good morning. Can I get that? Hey, can I push that button on the elevator for you? Whatever it is, or whatever form it is, just be nice. Now let's think about business. What happens? Hey, shot in the dark here. If your customers walk in the door and you're nice to them. Hey, I do experiments all the time. I'll go in. Walmart seems to be the biggest offender of rude people. But I'll go in the grocery stores, any of the major brands, or I'll go somewhere to see if the greeter or the person right at the door speaks to me. 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. What is your job? Now, we've got a Kroger here. Shout out to a Kroger here. Her name is, what is her name? She's a really sweet girl. Joy. Her name is Joy. That's it. Somebody shouted in the back. It's always great when you have other people here. Her name's Joy. I told her one day, I said, you fit your name. You make me feel joy when I come in here. Because she goes, welcome to Kroger. How are you today? If you need anything, just let us know. And I was like, wow, she actually enjoys the job. It's not just a script she's following. She's nice. Therefore, when she was nice, I felt better. Why do people go to certain businesses and don't go to others? Let's look at coffee shops. There's 5 coffee shops around where I live. Okay. So why do I go to one over the others? The people are nice. Now, you can be nice and have a less standard of a product as far as coffee, and people will come to your place rather than go to the really nice coffee, but rude people. Okay, let's look at home. I always like to reduce this back to family. How many times do we come in the door after a hard day's work and we've gone through traffic? I mean, hey, man, I live in Atlanta. I understand traffic. Us, LA, DC, Detroit, pretty bad, Chicago. How hard is it to leave that in the car and come in and go, man, I'm so glad to see you guys. I love you guys so much. Let's go have fun. Let's be nice to each other. Okay. So some of you guys, if you came in and did that, your wife would probably think that you were cheating on them and you were just trying to make up for something you've done. So you might want to look at that. All right. Number two, please and thank you. Again, hey, man, I thought this was stuff we learned when we were kids. My grandma and grandpa would drill this in my head, and I got pretty good at it. It works. But I really think of one character, Parks and Rec, Ron, please and thank you. He always said that. But how many times during the day do people skip that exercise? And to be unique, it used to be you had to be oddly dressed, weird hairdo, you went to weird places, you drove something weird, and your decorations in your house were weird. Now, to be unique, you have to be nice, and you say please and thank you. How difficult is that? Again, I'm starting to wonder, because society has lost these basics in business and in life. If you want to be successful in business, you better say please and thank you. Because I was watching a sales training one time, and somebody said, after you got the sale, did you say thank you? And the person said, no. Why not? They just invested in you. They've trusted your product. They've trusted what you've offered as a service. Why didn't you say thank you? When people give us something, when I'm over at someone's house and they give me a beverage or whatever it is, we're in the South, you always have to have a beverage and probably something to eat too. Do I say thank you? Absolutely. Once upon a time, I was the biggest jerk walking. I mean, I can say that. I was not an endorsement for kindness. Now that I'm a different person and I've chosen a different life, I make sure I say thank you for everything. I thank my wife every day for loving me. I thank my wife every day for not letting me die. But we made that agreement when we got married, and I have to say thank you for everything she does. I thank people constantly. I do say please, thank you, please and thank you. it gets a lot of warmth your way. No, it's not manipulation. It's just good manners. Now in the South, we kind of pride ourselves on manners, but I'm seeing in the South, those manners, those things we took for granted are starting to disappear. If they're disappearing here, that would be an assumption that they're disappearing everywhere. Are parents teaching their kids to say please and thank you? Well, if I had to go on the people that I see out in public, and let's say I go to a restaurant after a travel ball team is in town and everybody goes to the same restaurant. So let's say it's a Mexican restaurant, because here, that's the largest place people go to. I don't see a lot of please and thank you, and I don't see a lot of be nice. And I always tell people, if you've met the parents, you've met the child. If you've met the child, you've met the parents. So I'm not seeing these behaviors modeled to the kids, basically. So might want to put that on your checklist. If you need a warmer or you need a recommendation of what to watch, it's Parks and Rec. Great show, but you might want to watch certain parts of the characters. All right, number three. Number three, if you want to be unique in life, okay, this again, I thought this was common sense. It's know who you are. Derek Zoolander asked this question in Zoolander 1. Zoolander 2 should have never been made, kind of like Godfather 3 or in a Caddyshack 2 or Major League 2. Okay, certain movies should never be redone. But in Zoolander 1, Zoolander asked, who am I? So who are you? Do you know who you are? Now, I'm not talking about your occupation. I'm not talking about that, because normally for men, women too, especially C-level executives or women in the professional world, they'll tell you what they do for a living. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about who are you? So many people don't take the time to answer that question. I don't know how you get through life without it. You can't get through life successfully without knowing that. To be unique, again, if you don't want to be part of the 99 and you want to be part of the 1%, know who you are. People ask me all the time, well, who are you? Well, I said, okay, that's easy. I'm a speaking spirit. I'm a child of the Most High God. I am an emissary or an ambassador for Jesus while I'm here on earth. And then I'll go, that's the way I go, because I know exactly who I am. From a quantum physics standpoint, I'm a speaking spirit. From a human standpoint, I'm an emissary or an ambassador for heaven here on earth. And then I go through that and people look at me like I've got three heads. No, I took the time to sit for hours one day and go, who am I? Okay. I know what my job is, but I know what my job is based on who I am. I'm a child of the Most High God. I'm an emissary. I'm a person who takes heaven and displays it here on earth. I have to teach people that. But who am I? I'm a child of God. I'm a spirit, because we as humans, we're spirit, soul, and body. And this is just a taxi cab that carries my soul and my spirit. So I sat down, and then I did variations of that, and I went through it. But I took the time to say, if I'm going to be a success while I'm here on earth, if I'm going to be a contributing member of society, if I'm going to be someone that people want to be around and listen to, because I'm a pastor, so you kind of got to have that. Who am I? And I sat and wrote out and sat. And it's amazing what one of these and a piece of paper can do for your life. And some cool tunes and some coffee. I brought my coffee with me. This is a baby approved. Can you see the SEC? There you go. I'm only allowed to use SEC cups. Now, there's a bulldog on here somewhere. My wife went to Georgia. So you won't see any other conference. So go Dogs coming up, football season. So we got that going. Hopefully basketball is going to turn around at the University of Georgia. Just throwing that in there. If you want to be unique, actually win. Tom Crean's a good coach, good guy. So I see good things coming that way. All right. I digress. So let's go back to 3. Know who you are, because it's going to dovetail into number 4. Do what you promise. A lot of times we talk about brands. You are your own brand. I'm wearing Air Jordan pants today. He's his own brand. And we live in Atlanta, so a brand here would be Coca-Cola. You know, that's an easy one. Threw your softball there. The Varsity, if you've ever eaten there, if you ever need your oil change, the Varsity is an iconic brand here in Atlanta. But know who you are and then do what you promise. You would think, again, that's common sense. Hey, Captain Obvious, stop bringing up stuff that everybody knows. But I'm starting to see that not everybody knows that. And it's a difficulty to sit and watch people just destroy their own lives because they can't figure this out. So know who you are, but do what you promise. And I think about business and I think about marriage. Let's go business first. We hear commercials all the time that they say, we do this and we guarantee this. Well, do you? because I'm the guy that's going to call you or write a book about you. In my last book, I specifically pointed out some companies that didn't do what they promised. If you're going to make that promise, do it. I remember a friend of mine who works with brand. He does brand management and reps clients. He was telling me about a client he had that was slowly being put out of business by a guy across the street. He did $5 haircuts. Well, my buddy came up with a thing that says, here, put this in the front of your store. I fix $5 haircuts. What was the promise? I'm going to fix the bad haircut, right? So whatever the promise is in business, can you just do it? If you promised the guy you were going to do something, deliver what you promised. Don't over deliver. You don't have to do all that. Here's an idea though. If you want to be unique, just do what you said you were going to do. Now let's look at personal. Okay, that's business. Let's look at personal. If you said you were going to do it, do it. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I do it. Guarantee it. The one thing I did learn, again, from my grandpa and my dad too, was my dad later in life. Just do what you say. If you do what you say, nobody's going to have a problem with you. And it'll make you unique because most people lie, but to me at least. They'll come to me to be coached, but then they'll lie to me. I don't understand. I'm like, if you're going to be honest with one person on the planet, you might want to be honest with the guy who's trying to help you, who's trying to put it all back together. So what did you promise on your marriage day? To love, honor, cherish, sickness and in health, good and the bad, the ugly, whether we're broke or we're flush with cash, we're going to be together. Well, I can honestly say in our marriage, we meant that because we've been through every hard time you could possibly imagine. And we made it on the other side. It's, are you going to deliver what you promised? If you do that, again, we always talk about the 99 and 1%. You will definitely be in the 1% if you do what you tell people you're going to do. It's a cliche, but I'm going to use it. Let's look at Christ. Christ said, I'll be up in 3 days and I'll return. So what'd they do? Nobody believed him. Mary did. Mary went to look, but nobody really believed that that was feasible or possible because they'd never seen it. He shows up. Now they believe. Well, in my life, I try to go ahead and be believable before they see it. If I tell you I'm going to do something, you can take it to the bank. I'll do it. I'll make it right. I'm going to do this. I told you I'll do it, period. That'll put you in the 1%, and that'll make you very unique because nobody's going to back it up most of the time. All right, number five, if you're counting, think. We have a lot of group think going on. I mean, you know, Rome's burning currently if you listen to the media, but it's a lot of people out there allowing an external source to think for them. And most people, if you listen to the early philosophers, I mean, good grief, let's go back 2,000 years. Back then they said people didn't think. So I see a lot less people thinking now. They let media think for them. They let people think for them. They get group think going. But they think they've got an individual outlook on life, even though they're allowing the media to tell them how someone feels or thinks or what's right and wrong. Now, why would you allow the media to tell you that? They lie. All the media does is lie. My wife's a broadcast journalism major. She can tell you it's nothing but lies. Why would you listen to that? Here's an idea. Again, it's like figuring out who you are, because until you know who you are, you're going to have the belief system of someone else, because you're not going to be able to adapt or adjust to life if you don't know who you are. So as soon as you know who you are, specifically who you are, you will sit down and think. People that don't know who they are don't think. They go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. Just go in the grocery store. Yesterday, I got to see that several Hollywood celebrities are on the rocks in their marriage. Who else? Several athletes have lost all their money. Is it true? I don't know. That's what they flash up there. But if I didn't know who I was, would I believe that stuff? Well, normally, no. I don't never believe that stuff because I know they're just trying to sell magazines, and I don't see how they stay in business with all the lawsuits that happen. But in the media, they like to build you up for about a year or two and then tear you down. Look at Lance Armstrong. Built him up, tore him down. Look at the Kardashians. Look at anybody they've spent time building up. They want you to think like they do, or they want you to think the way they want to make you think so they can control you. If you don't take the time to think as an individual, you will be controlled the rest of your life. You don't have any choice. You're always going to have the opinion of someone else. It's always delightful to speak to someone. You know, you go to a business meeting or whatever, and they will change their opinion based on what someone says. So let's say there's 12 people at the table. This individual sits with 5. Now that individual has 5 different opinions, because they'll start out going, no, I don't like this. Okay, I agree with you. And then I'll hear them talk to somebody else. No, I don't like this. Okay, I agree with you. Okay, that's someone who doesn't know who they are or what they represent. They might want to sit down and go, It's like politics, and politics is a big thing right now. I don't ever make a decision based on the paper, the news, what the individual says about his or herself. I explore. I do research. When they were off the cuff, what did they say? I will only take something as fact if I heard it come out of their mouth and I heard the entire interview. If I haven't heard the entire interview, to me, it's not true, because, I mean, anybody can manipulate or adjust something to make it sound worse or better than it was. So, but if you hear someone's entire interview, then you can say that's what they said. Or if you look at their voting record, or if you look at past interviews, that's how I base everything. It's no different than when I research items, or when I was really sick, how I researched things that can make me better. I always look at the body of research and then make my decision. All right, number 6. All right, number 6. Plan out your life, stay on offense. That's not so hard, is it? Yeah, that's, man, if people planned out their life, I wouldn't have anything to do. I would have no clients. Why do you want to plan out your life? Well, I used to be a coach, and coaches spend endless hours of watching film, planning out offenses, planning out defenses, overcoming, if they do this, we do this, and add contingencies for everything. I even practiced timeouts. I practiced leaving the locker room. I practiced every little nuance of the game that we could, because I never wanted anyone to have an advantage on me when I was a coach. I still do that in life. I'm on the spectrum. You know, people on the spectrum don't always have the best social skills. So when I'm telling you, I actually have to rehearse. If you've ever seen the show Doc Martin, we watch a lot of BBC or Sherlock Holmes. I tend to have that personality. I can be snappy, rude. I don't mean to be. It's just who I am. And my wife helps me with the other things. You need to apologize. But I plan out my life. So if I know I'm in a social situation, I'll plan on what's appropriate. I used to teach special ed, and of all people, I taught the social skills group, or how to be nice and how to be appropriate in public. And I had to learn those things too, because being on a spectrum, it's not second nature for me. So I had to learn these things, what's acceptable in society. So plan out your life. You know what's going to happen. Normally 5 days a week, you go to work, you do these things. Why aren't you planning things out? Okay, so I know I've got to do this. I know what I'm going to experience. I know what's going to happen. Why have I not already planned out my responses? You don't ever want to be taken off guard. You know, the worst thing in coaching is they throw something at you you've never seen, and you don't know how to adjust to it. Okay, they threw a different offense than you thought they would, but you've already researched offenses. So you know how to play defense, and now they're playing a different defense, so I know how to beat it offensively. Why is life taking you by surprise? I talk to people a lot of times. Well, I just like to go with the flow. Okay, going with the flow, you end up bankrupt, no retirement. Your family ends up hating you, and you don't have anything to hold on to. You can go with the flow in a planned way. All right, I'm gonna go with the flow, but here's contingencies. I was listening to a documentary on Donald Trump years before he ran for office. And he had like 27 contingencies for every single thing they did in real estate, which I dig, because I don't like surprises either. I like to go ahead and even if it is a so-called surprise, I know what I'm going to do. So did you plan out your life? Have you planned out your life? Well, if you don't know who you are, and you don't take the time to think, and you don't honor promises, that means you lie to yourself anyway. So why would you go ahead and plan things out? Why would you think you were on offense? Always be on offense. What's that mean? You've always got the ball. You call the shots. You've already planned out everything, so nothing's going to surprise you. And now you know what you're going to do. Let's look at traffic. Again, that's one of my triggers. I don't like traffic. I'm in a major metropolitan area, and I hate it. However, I know if I'm going into the city, and I live a good 60, 70 miles out of the city, so I go only when I have to. I'll go ahead, and my wife helps me download music. I'll go ahead and have my traffic music. If I'm going to be frustrated, here's what I do. I have to listen to these songs or this artist brings me down. And I know I'm going to sit there in Atlanta, it could be 1 hour or 4. It just depends on what's going on. So I'll go ahead and pre-plan for that. If I know I'm going to have to do this, I pre-plan for it. I go ahead and think out my day and my life. So I think out things weeks, months, years, and think it out that way. It's like as a pastor. I'm not an off-the-cuff guy. Now I don't write out my whole sermon because I can't read it anyway. But I know I'll go on the what I do, go on the calendar, and I'll write out, okay, this is what I'm handling. This is where we're going. This is what we're going to do. But I also allow the Holy Spirit to drop something on me. As a pastor, a lot of times we'll have weeks written out. And I like to go ahead and put outlines out. I don't write out the whole thing, but I have the scripture and everything. And then on Saturday night, the Holy Spirit will go, I need you to do this. And so I'll adjust. And then I adjust the rest. And I know if I don't preach that sermon, I'll preach it some other time. But I have everything planned out. I have the scriptures laid out. And I know what I'm going to do. Because I know what people need. I know what the Holy Spirit's told me to preach on. And I know what I'm going to do. Same thing in business. What do we have to do this? What are our goals? What's the objectives? Where we're going? What are our steps? I plan out every single thing that I do. My wife can tell you I'm the worst guy to go on a trip with. Here's why. Our first trip, I wrote an itinerary. And I don't write them on like from 11:30, we're going to do this. I wrote from like 11 to 11:12 because I was writing out a practice plan. We'll do this. My wife showed me how she felt about it. She took it out of my hand. She goes, let me see it. She took it out of my hand and ripped it into 1,000 pieces, put it in the garbage and said, I'll be on the beach. Let me know when you want to come down. I stopped doing that. It's amazing what a wife can do. The wisdom that comes from a wife in marriage. It's just amazing how smart my wife is. I stopped doing that. However, I'm still the car packer. I have a precise way I like to pack the car. There are certain ways things have to be done. So everybody brings it out to the car and then I pack it. And then I put everybody on a stopwatch at the rest stop. So we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds before we have to be in the car because we got to beat last year's time. I'm that guy. Okay. Now she's loosened me up a lot because if I do that, she goes and stands inside the gift shop and looks around for 20 minutes. And then I'll walk in and I go, honey, and I'll point at the watch. She goes, I can get slower. Okay. I don't think that's possible, but I get the point. Can we get in the car now? It's like one time we got in an argument and I said, okay, you're right. I'm wrong. Get in the car. I just wanted to get in the car to get where we were going. So that's how we handle things with our family. But as I see our time wind down, I hope this has helped. To be unique, let me go back through the steps again. What is unique? Being the only one of its kind, unlike anything else. Okay, I fit that in a lot of ways. A lot of pastors don't look like me. Me and Todd White, I think, are probably two of the unique ones on the face of the planet right now preaching. But I never wanted to be like anybody else. In high school, I was a loner. In college, I was a loner. In life, I'm still kind of a loner. I have a few good friends that I hang out with, and that's about it. So I'm unique. I wanted to be different, me. So being different meant being me. So if you get what I'm saying. All right. So number one, be nice. Man, it ain't that hard. Just be nice to people. Good grief. What would happen in this world if we were just nice to each other? Please and thank you. Miss Manners. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on the internet and look up Miss Manners. It's a book that I used to have. I'm sure I still have a copy. A person gave it to me one time because they suggested I read it. I read it, adjusted, now I teach it. Know who you are. If you don't know that, watch Zoolander. It's a funny movie. Know who you are. If you don't know, when's a good time to do? Not now. Do what you promise. Marriage, business, family, whatever it is. If you promised it, just do it. Think for yourself. Don't do groupthink. Groupthink is not any good. It's a losing proposition, and it's a good way to go off the rails and never come back. And the last thing is plan out your life. Stay on offense. If you're not a sports person, just make a plan, make an outline, make a vision board, whatever it is, whatever way it takes for you to understand that. A lot of people use vision boards. Those are visual aids to do an outline. Okay. Whatever it's going to take, but plan out your life. Now's a good time to start that. Why? Because you're not getting any younger. Time's going to pass by. If we don't get out of the normal rhythm of our lives, we'll continue down the path we're on. It's that simple. All right, I hope these have been helpful tips. I want to keep it light today. I mean, there's enough heavy going on in the world. Let's laugh. I think we've lost our ability to laugh, period. Just my suggestion. So if you need my help, go by to scotferrell.com. It's my professional page. So scotferrell.com, let me spell it. My mom and dad were unique in the spelling of my name. SCOTFERRELL.com. Or you can go by our church page if you need prayer, if you need to be loved on, you can come in person. We like to hug. We're a very friendly bunch because I wanted to make sure that if you came to our church, outside of bad preaching, I didn't want anything else to turn you away from our church. So I wanted you, if you didn't like the preaching, that's cool. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I didn't want rude people not being nice to you, not showing concern for you, not praying for you to be the problem and why you didn't come back to our church. So we're a lovey bunch. We like to kiss and hug and help people. That's what we do. And then we pray for you during the week. So if you have a prayer request, it's flashing on the bottom here. Go ahead and send those to encounterchrist.org. Okay, it's very simple. All right, as we close, if you have an idea, if there's something I don't cover, a lot of times I cover topics that people suggest to me during the week, or something that's bothering me about society or about life. You can send those to me, send those to encounterchrist.org. I think I threw out all the websites there. My thing is this coming Sunday, we go back on at 11. Okay. My executive assistant is show me a thing, something I didn't want to give. I forgot to tell you about the book. All right. Number one book right now, iconic. That would be Scott McCain. Let me put it on this side. Scott McCain. He does a Facebook Live every single day. Iconic. Why am I suggesting this book? Because it's iconic. No, it's if you've got a business, if you're in business, if you've got a family, if you're married, every single tip in this book is applicable to your life. Now, especially for business. Scott's the number one guy in distinction. If you want to be unique, you want to be distinct, if you want to make dollar bills, if you want to satisfy your customers, have a great product, and make sure you fulfill every promise, Scott's book is the one you want to read. As a matter of fact, every day, I think he's still doing it. It's a Facebook Live, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He's on the West Coast. So watch his program. He has some of the top experts in business and in life come on his show. It's very entertaining. I try to watch it almost every day because I pick up little nuggets, or I like to hear some of the stories those guys tell, because Scott's also one of the number one speakers in the world. Great guy, cool radio voice. He does everything about him's cool. He is unique. He teaches distinction. He teaches you how to be iconic. Why wouldn't you want to tune into that? So Facebook Live, he does every day at 3 p.m. And currently he's doing it 7 days a week. So you don't want to miss that. It'll bless your life if you do. Get the book. Again, a great book. I'm rereading it again now. I think this is number 4 of times that I've read it. I take notes on napkins. I go to coffee shops and write things down on napkins. I'll write down on anything I have. So get the book, Iconic. You can get on Amazon, probably from his websites or right off Facebook. It'll be a blessing to you, and it will help change your life, because right now I know everybody's not unique, and they haven't started the 6 I gave, and then Scott's going to give you a whole bunch more to work on. And if you want to be successful, and if you want to be remembered, and you want to make an impact not only your community but your country and the world, you're going to want to do these 6 things and read that book. All right, as we close out, thank you so much for being part of my day. I'm always going to be back on Wednesdays. I know it's Thursday today, but I'll be back next Wednesday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know some people are in different parts of the world. Hello, France. Got a person I love from high school in France. So thanks for tuning in. All right, until next time, take care, guys. I hope you have a great week.